60 Seconds with Pastor Eddie, and I'm your host, Pastor Eddie. I am, and haven't posted in a while, I've been staring at this video equipment for a minute here, trying to decide what I'm going to say. A couple weeks ago, we suffered a tragic loss of life in our family, and it rocked us hard. And I don't say that for sympathy. I'm recording this because I want to help people through who also have suffered loss, tragedy, and going through difficult times. One of the things that happened when I first heard the news was different from any other tragedy I've ever been through. On another platform, I talked about this a little bit, but I want to talk to you guys about it now. One of the things that happened for the first time during a big, major, tragic event in my life was that my faith kicked in first. Before my fear, before my pain, before my doubt, my faith kicked in. And there's a reason that that is extremely important, and it's because it shows growth. Doesn't mean it hurt any less. Doesn't mean I wasn't any less upset, angry, frustrated, afraid. It's just that the determining factor of what I was going to do and how I was going to respond was not my emotions. They don't run the show. The determining factor was my faith, and my faith was rooted in not just the Word of God, but my experience with God throughout my life, looking back for the past 20 plus years of going through event after event after event, where things that I perceived as negative have happened, and how God has brought our family through, brought me through to the place where I'm at now. We look at our great people of faith in the Bible, and we look at how their faith was. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego captured by Babylon, and they tell their the rulers that they're not going to eat the food. Later on in the story, they don't bow to the statue of Nebuchadnezzar, even with being threatened to be thrown in the fire. And you wonder where that faith comes from. Daniel decided to pray, even though the edict was no one prays to anyone but the king. He decided to keep praying to his God and was thrown into the lion's den, and they didn't even have to drag him kicking and screaming. He relied on his faith. And we don't get a glimpse of all the things that happened that built their faith that way. But to anybody who's suffering, I want to say this. One of the things that we can control is how we process this. And your faith in God has to take precedent over your feelings and your emotions. And you have to remember, it's not rooted in nonsense. Your faith is rooted in biblical stories, people that you're around, people that you've seen, messages that you've heard, and what God has done in your own family and your own life. Your faith is rooted in a foundation that is rock solid. You have to decide if you're going to trust him or not, even when it hurts. You trust doctors with syringes. You trust dentists with hooks in your mouth. You trust the chair that you're sitting in. You don't know who made it, who put it together. You don't know who manufactured the screws, but you trust that it'll hold your weight. Trust God, even when it hurts. He was good before it started hurting. He's good when it's hurting. And he will see you through. Psalms 23, one of the most famous quoted scriptures of all time, says, "Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death." It doesn't say, as one preacher told me when I was young, it doesn't say, "Yea, though I set up shop." It doesn't say, "Yea, though I pitch my tent." It doesn't say, "Yea, though I build my home in the valley of the shadow of death." It says, "Yea, though I walk through." We keep walking forward, even when it hurts, because that shows our faith in the God of the universe, who has brought us through everything before and will bring us through this now. Sometimes we have to grow up and we have to trust. And sometimes our trust is put to the test. And yeah, you're going to have to be kinder. Yeah, you're going to have to show and prove what God has done for you. You're going to have to let your faith rule. Your faith in his love, your faith in his mercy, your faith in his grace, your faith in his plan, your faith in him. Just a quick thought. Talk to you again soon. 60 Seconds with Pastor Eddie at gmail.com. Connect with me. Let's get moving forward.